And we are live! Hi, guys, and welcome back to Reads Readers with your host, Clint. And you're here for the live show to discuss Mistakes Were Made by Meryl Wilsner. We will go around and start with introductions and your starting rating. And we will start with the lovely Miss Hope.
The way that my brain is like, I didn't even think about a rating until yet. Well, I'm Hope from It's Hope's Books, and I think I want to say based on enjoyment, like a 4.5.
Ooh,
Like
stunning.
I can't give it a 5 star, but like giving it a 4 is I'm like that's too low. So like I say 4.5. I'm the type of person that does half ratings.
Yeah, no, me too. Me too. Um, hi everybody, I'm Dana. You can find me on YouTube at Dana Ella and Instagram at Dana Ella Reads. I fear that I will be the odd one out on this. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna start with a 2. You could convince me to go up. You know what it is though? The spice, like, oh, ma'am. She wrote the heck out of those scenes, okay? But there were certain things about it. And it's like sometimes when you read a book, there's certain things you don't enjoy and you're like, okay, whatever. But certain times you read a book and the things that you don't enjoy just feel so big that you just can't get over them. And that's where I'm at. The things that I didn't enjoy, I like really, really just upset me. So I can't wait to talk about it. I'm so sorry.
I also think it might not have been a good idea for this book and the Swoonies pick to be the same exact month.
I mean, I read them in 2 different months, so.
Well, yeah, but the way my brain, when I read them, I read them in the same week.
Oh, God. Okay.
And not to spoil either book, but beginning and end is almost exactly the same in both books.
Yeah. We're talking spoilers though for this one, right? Like,
yeah, yes, we're talking spoilers, but I'm like, I don't want to spoil the other book, is what I'm meaning. But I did not realize that both Swoonies and us chose a sapphic romance that starts with a one-night stand with some amazing spice in both of those scenes.
So well written, my God.
But then both end almost exactly the same way. But both are completely different storylines. One's about trying to save the inn, while this one's a MILF storyline, which I gave this a 4, by the way.
Okay, stunning.
And I gave the Swoony book a 4.5. I think I like that a little bit more. I don't know if MILF stories are really for me.
Okay.
So
Understandable.
I got a little weirded out because the age.
Say it. What?
The age difference weirded me a little bit out because it's the exact same age difference between me and my mother almost. That 20-year gap.
17.
17. Mom and I are 20 years, exactly. Okay. She was 19 when she had me, and she turned 20 a couple months after having me. So it's like almost exactly the same, and that just like kept weirding me out. So I don't know if the MILF side of thing is for me.
Is your trope, huh?
Yeah, see, I see that, and I'm like over with me. I'm like, for me, it's like my age gap between my parents is 35 years and then 39 years for the other parents. So I'm like, my parents were late in life when they had me. Therefore, I'm like, oh, it's like 20-year age gap.
Yeah. I don't mind an age gap romance.
I don't mind an age gap either.
This one just had a little issue though for you.
I can't imagine one of my friends dating my mother. That just weirds me out.
Yeah. I see. I can't wait to get into it for the things that I feel like just did not work.
I mean, Mom and I have a rule we can't go within 10 years of each other's age.
Okay.
Like, that's always been our rule. Her current boyfriend, Bobby, being the exception, he's 9 years. So it's like he's 9 years older than me.
Okay, that's
Or is he 9 years younger? Whatever. I don't think he's 9 years younger than her.
Okay.
Is he 9 years older than? I don't know. Math is.
It's enough though.
It's enough that
okay with
oh,
that.
when they first dated, it was only supposed to be like for fun, and it was not supposed to turn into something, and it turned into something, and I'm just like, yeah, it's fine. You're already there, whatever.
Yeah. Train's already left the station. What can you do?
Because she showed me photos when they first started getting together, asking me like, "What do you think of him?" And she showed me photos when I say this. I'm glad my brain has now blocked those out
I'm glad they have as well, friend.
because he's practically my father now.
Yeah.
So,
Oh yeah, yep.
because he's done more for me than my actual father has. So, but okay, let's do our thoughts on the characters. Let's start with Erin, the mom.
I love her just because even though like she's trying so hard to be a good mom. She's kind of like she's failing at times and she recognizes it. But she's trying.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what like I really started liking her as a character once she kind of realized like I need to kind of explain to Parker about why the divorce happened, how like all that. And that's at first, the first like half, I was kind of like, she's a good character. But once it happened to that, I was like, I really liked that.
Mm-hmm.
And it made her kind of be more of a complex character instead of just a basic.
Okay. Aaron and Cassie genuinely irritated me to no end. I found them so many points in time just so infuriating with how stupid and immature they were at times, like with certain scenarios. Cassie, I feel like there's a little more grace, like she is younger, you know? Um, but like Aaron, babes, we're about to be 40. Like we've got to have some maturity somewhere in here. And like I feel like the most mature people were Acacia and Parker. Like I just oh, they really frustrated me because how is it that y'all notice that Parker's not talking to you guys and you really just can't grapple with the fact that like she knows, like to
Hello.
be like there's no way she knows, right? What, let's be
Yeah.
honest here, like and the fact that Parker had the computer, right, you know, and the messages come on the computer and like 3 seconds later Cassie's sitting at her computer answering messages on her computer. And it's like, babes, did you not think that she saw anything? Like, genuinely, we didn't think that that was a possibility. I think like that just frustrated me. And then Cassie, I just feel like you can't convince me Cassie actually liked Parker as a friend because every time we were in like her POV, at least in the beginning, right? It was just like, oh, Parker's calling me her best friend. Like, I'm not her best friend. Like, Park, you know, and then like, and every time she called Parker princess, it was so condescending. Like, it didn't sound like funny to me. I don't know. Maybe when I was like listening to the audio, it just did not sound like a fun nickname. Like, it sounded like, well, of course, princess, you don't come down till noon. Is you my mom? No, but you're messing with my mom, so shut up. Like, it's just like you can't convince me she actually wanted to be her real friend. And then it wasn't until Parker pulled away that then she was like, but you're my best friend. Cassie, shut up. I beg. Shut up.
Like, I get that their friendship started off on a really sour note of Parker sleeping with Cassie's boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. But the fact that Cassie said in her head at one point, well, I guess it's okay because she slept with my boyfriend, so I'm sleeping with her mom. It's fine. Like, there was legit that moment. She had that going. I guess it's tit for tat. What?
That I didn't like that,
No,
like that,
no.
and then yeah, I kind of get that. Yeah, Aaron did kind of feel a little immature at some points, but my brain is also going like, based on what she's saying about her marriage, like she didn't really get to have fun
Yeah.
in her marriage. So
Mhm.
I get that she's out of that marriage. She's now being able to be her own person. So kind of being that immature every so often.
Every
Like
so often.
going drinking at the bar and having a one night stand. Sure, that like go girl.
Come on. We're cheering. Yes.
We're cheering. But like yeah, I kind of as you're pointing out, yeah, kind of some immature moments, especially like for Erin and like Cassie, yeah, she gets the pass. I'm like she's my age. I get that. It like my brain's like I get her. I
Hmm.
very much get her.
Yeah. I think like some of this stuff with Aaron that really just stood out to me that I was like, what are we doing? Like, again, I'm with you. She was in a marriage where she didn't feel like she was living her authentic self, you know? And so it's like cheering her on as she goes out, like you said, getting like drunk by herself, having a one night stand, like, babes, do it and do it well. Cause it was written well, you know? But like it was uh like the lying to her therapist, like for what? Like honestly, for what? And then the instead of like she could not have a mature conversation if you paid her $1 million. She couldn't tell her therapist the truth. She couldn't tell her best friend Rachel the truth. And instead of having a real conversation with Cassie, you said, well, obviously you've got mommy problems. I mean, yeah, she does, but like for you to
Yeah.
like throw that, like, are we? You know what it gave me? It gave like when you watch like movies and these little kids, like like Airbud, when he's like trying to get him to go away, and he's like, "I hate you, get away, don't come near me." Like that's what that
Yep.
felt like, and it was like that was a child who was like 7. I get it. You, 40 years old, Miss Ma'am. No. Like, is that like this is literally just like this like Cassie's just a few years older than your daughter. Is this the advice you would give your kid? Like, yeah, throw like their insecurities in their face and then like that'll be the perfect way. Multiple times. Like, what? I just yeah, that annoyed me. And then like Cassie when Parker, like the dad, was it Adam? Aaron started with an A. I know
Adam.
that. When
Adam.
he walked in and he was like, "My God, what are you doing with our daughter's friend?" Right? Like when he came in and did that whole thing. And then Parker's like, "Dad, you need to leave. Like just go ahead and leave." And then Parker's like, "Yeah, I've known." Did Cassie stay and have a conversation? No. Cassie jumped on the scooter that Aaron bought her and scooted away. Like, how is Parker the one that's the youngest, the one that you condescend? Like, yeah, princess. Like, how is she the one that has the most sense in this entire situation? Somebody please explain that to me.
The only reason why I think Parker had the most sense in that particular moment is because Parker's had so much time
To
to
process it
process
and like
everything.
understand like this is what's going on. I need to like manage my feelings. And then with
Because
Adam, he's just finding out about this and it's like off. So I get
he,
that. And then I in some ways get Cassie kind of leaving because she's probably like wasn't expecting it to happen. So having that like I don't want to deal with this confrontation with somebody who I view as my best friend and I like she almost wanted to like have a few moments of just the last bit of like the normality that she knew.
Yeah. I mean, I can
did
hear what
she
you guys.
call Acacia or text
Yes.
Acacia?
Yeah.
So she
Text her.
needed she
And then,
needed a moment to step away to talk to her, but the one that's known her the longest.
Yeah.
and like,
And
I
like
hear.
reflect.
Yeah. Like, I hear what you guys are saying. I think my thing though is like Adam, like I did not care about his reaction at all because they already said like he was a d bag. Like,
Yeah.
who cares?
Anybody named
But
Adam is a D-bag.
with like Parker, like even when Parker first found out though, like she did not have a overreaction. She literally just grabbed her things and was just like, all right, well, you know what? I got to go ahead and skedaddle. Like, she did not blow up on Cassie. She didn't blow up on her mom. She took a little time to like have a little time away and then, called her mom. And I feel like she opened the door 500,000 times to them to just tell her. Because you got to remember, this has gone on for like 7 months. And so for like 5 months, Parker was giving them like the layup. Like, here's the open door. Somebody just tell me. Somebody just tell me. And nobody wants to say anything. And I love y'all and I hear y'all, but I cannot be convinced on Aaron and Cassie.
I will say there were a couple of moments with Parker that I knew she knew.
Yeah.
Because of how she was treating, because when she was treating Cassie.
Mm-hmm.
I went, oh, she's leaving. Oh, she knows. She found out. Oh my God. Yeah. Somehow, some way, something happened. She found out. And then 100%. When she got on the computer, I went, oh, you dumbass.
And that's what I'm saying, though, is like, and I feel like that's maybe an issue with the writing, is like how, as the reader, I feel like as soon as she like had the computer in her hand and then left, we knew she knew. And it was like, do you really have characters? One that's like going to be an astronaut, like somebody so smart and a doctor, and they really couldn't deduce the fact that like, hey guys, Parker knows. Like,
the only thing I had was how Parker kept acting at the beginning. She stopped doing it until they went to Thanksgiving, and then she added it on to her mother instead of Cassie. Like at school, she gave it all at Cassie, and then when they went to Thanksgiving, she gave it all to her mother.
She didn't know at Thanksgiving.
Am I getting timelines?
Yes, up? And that because and that's the other issue I had with the book, and it's because of what you just said. The pacing in this was so off. Like there were certain scenes that were like only a paragraph long, a blip on the radar, and one of them was Thanksgiving. Parker went home for Thanksgiving and told her mom, like, hey, Cassie's going to be alone. Can you pay for her to come to spend 2 weeks for Christmas? When I tell you I had to
Christmas, not Thanksgiving.
I had to rewind it so many times to be like, when did this happen? And it was like one paragraph on Thanksgiving. And then at Christmas, Parker didn't know. Parker didn't find out till Valentine's Day.
Oh.
Yeah, so it was a month and a half after Christmas.
Yeah, yeah. And so it's like, and she was bebopping, doing her thing. Like, Cassie came with her when Cassie wanted to. Other than that, like, Parker was doing her thing. And then Cassie and Aaron were definitely doing their thing, like every other page. Again, well-written spice. Did y'all ever used to watch when she was on YouTube, Chelsea from Chelsea Darling Reads?
Yes.
Okay. Loved her so much. She was like one of my comfort YouTubers. I begged
her and Julie. That's why I got. That's how I got into contemporary books, was because of them.
Yes. Oh God, I love them.
Contemporary thon.
But oh, I didn't hear you, Hope. Sorry.
I said I missed that. Contemporary thon. That was my first ever readathon. It was one of those rounds.
Mine too.
I'm just like flashback to like.
Yes. It's like I miss the vibe of like old booktube. That's like a side note to many things. I miss like old booktube. But
them two and Natasha.
Mm-hmm. But Chelsea, like on Goodreads, like I still like, see her reviews and stuff. Mm-hmm. And she read this and it was funny because like her review was just so real. It was like she gave it 3 stars and she was like 75% of this was smut, but like I'm not mad at it, but it really was. I just feel like it was so much smut, which is fine because like I will read a smutty book. Don't play with me. But like going into it, like for instance, Silver Foxed by Kayla Gross. It's a smutty age gap dad's best friend novella, right? When you pick it up, those tropes in it. Mm-hmm. You're prepared for it, and it's smutty. But and there's like it's like smut, and then like this much a plot, and that's what this book felt like. But this was a full novel. Like I think the pacing of it is kind of really what threw me. It was like those scenes that were so fast they were over, like the Thanksgiving, like Parker going home for Thanksgiving and convincing her mom to buy a ticket for Cassie to come out there, which, Aaron, what were you thinking? But whatever. Especially if you're in the mindset of like, we can't do this. But then, like, I feel like we were at her mom's for Christmas for 100 years. And the pacing
Was
was
probably like 100 pages.
yeah, the pacing of it, I think, was just off. Like, there were so many things I think that were just like zoomed right on past. And then other things that it was like, I get it. You're going to make her coffee and you're going to have her coffee ready before she comes down those stairs. And you know exactly how she likes to have her coffee. And then
Yeah, and you're
Parker's
gonna do that
every
every day, and you're gonna show us every day.
every day. Parker's not going to get up till noon every day. You guys are going to go have some good times every day, which, hey, babes, love that for you. But like, it was just like, it was like the same thing over and over and over and over. And I was like, honestly, I was like, okay.
I will say I did speed through some of the sex scenes.
I did towards the end so I could finish the book on time.
As a gay man, I was like, these are awesome scenes. These are hot, but
it was enough. Like,
they're not doing anything for me. So please go away.
Okay, I'm sorry. Also, can we just say in the beginning of the book when they were at the bar, right? When it was like one night stand about to happen, and Aaron went to the bathroom and Cassie was like in her POV and she was just like, oh, this guy is getting in my way. He's trying to cock block. I mean, clam jam.
Yes.
Like, I said, get out my face. Get out. Why? Why?
I rolled so hard at that.
I said, no, that can't be real life.
I mean, okay. I've heard worse referred to that. I've heard flap trap. A friend of mine, anytime someone like cock blocks, she's like, quit trying to flap trap me. And I'm like, why are you referring to your area as that? Like, can we not?
Oh,
can we not? Do we have anybody that we, besides, like, do we have anybody in this book that we specifically hate? I know we get irritated. Like, is there anyone, because I know Shay's not here, but anyone a hoe?
I mean, I guess the ex-husband, Parker's dad.
But even then, you don't really see him enough.
Yeah.
And like a lot of his, even when we do see him, it's like, I mean, I get it. Like, and like, he's an ex-husband for Aaron, but then it's like he is Parker's dad, so it's like he does have the right to have opinions.
Yeah.
Especially when it's something regarding his daughter's life, because
absolutely.
He very like you can see that when he is or like when he is talked about or around that he does seemingly like being a dad to Parker, and like he seems like he is a good dad. So it's like I wouldn't really call him a hoe because he is, based on what we know, a good dad. He was just a horrible husband. So he has
I'm
that.
with you on that.
But was he a horrible husband, or were they just not perfect for each other?
And that's what I think, because the way that Aaron, like I said, you couldn't have paid her $1 million to be honest with anybody. Like, how many honest conversations did she have with her husband while they were married? Probably zero. Like, but you know, how many honest conversations did she have with her mom? Zero. Like her own mom and all like her issues that she had from feeling like she's not living up to her mom's standards and stuff. But it's just like the way that she avoided any actual conversation. I'm like, you probably never were honest with your feelings with your husband, and you just went along with whatever he said. And he definitely had that like icky alpha male moments, you know, about like, well, if you want me to help out, you know, I can give you an internship or I can write you a letter of recommendation. But like, I feel like under any other circumstance, if Cassie was not wanting Aaron, she would have been like, thank you. Like to Parker's dad, you can write me a letter of recommendation that's going to help me get where I want to go. Thank you. I don't gotta like you, but thank you.
I'll take misogyny. Let's go. I'll use it to my advantage.
Yeah. So it's like, I also don't know if there's really anybody in here that I disliked more than Aaron and Cassie.
I was going to agree with that. I just thought I'd ask because I know almost every book we always have that whole moment of she's a hoe, he's a hoe. We just don't like them.
Yeah, but this one there wasn't.
Yeah. I agree.
And
Usually there is, but this one I feel like I can't think of one.
okay, let's go. How does the age gap between Aaron and Cassie impact their relationship? And are there specific challenges they face due to their age difference?
Mhm.
I mean, the age gap definitely impacts the relationship of like the we shouldn't be doing this because age gaps are still frowned upon.
Yeah.
Even there's been a few people in my personal life or like kind of close to my personal life that even with my relationship, which is only 7 year age gap, they're just like, "Are you sure you want that?" Like people that I thought were my friends are just like, "Oh." So I get that. I do
He's
get
7
that
years
on like
older than you.
personal,
He's more mature.
yeah. But like, so I get that how it can impact their relationship, and you can see of how it's like they're like, we shouldn't be doing this not only because of
Mhm.
Parker, but because of the age difference.
Mhm.
And so like I guess the specific challenges are mainly just they're in two very different places in life.
That's that's my I think biggest thing. It's not even like because again, I don't mind an age gap romance, but I think for me, you one of the things you really hit the nail on the head. I just feel like they're genuinely just at different
Mhm.
points in life, and I feel like that's one of the things I'm just like, how are y'all really gonna like hurdle that obstacle? Because you genuinely at two different points in life.
Yeah, versus like I'm gonna kind of use my relationship because it's the only age gap relationship I know of, like personally, really. It's like, but we're in the same point of life. When we met, he was at the point that he's like, I just kind of want to like settle down, like start actually having relationship and a life and like that person that I need. And then I was at that same point because I'm just like, I just dating sucks. I just need to find my person.
Hmm.
And so it's like we were in kind of like, yeah, there's still some aspects of our life where we're in different stages, but like we're working together to help each other with that
Yeah.
because we understand.
Mm. Yeah.
And it's like you have to understand. And I feel like they kind of don't, they
Hmm.
understand the different, like that they're in different points and they're trying to support each other, but also they could make a little bit more effort.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
besides just talking about it, actually being like, how can I help? And I mean, kind of, Aaron did do that by like, oh, I'll go look at apartments for you in Boston so that there's actually like somebody can see it to be like, oh, this place isn't trash.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That was kind of helping, and that's I think one of the first moments where you're like, okay, they're actually like Aaron does kind of understand it, a little bit of what Cassie's kind of trying to do,
I feel
but
like even with that, Parker's the one that had to initiate that.
yeah,
Like, why don't you ask my mom? Like, why don't you ask my like I feel like she was really giving them the wide open door to be like just
Mhm.
like to give them the chance to be like, you're telling me, right? Like I'm not gonna have to be the one that brings this up, but you're gonna say it. And like, I don't know. I think again, age gap I think is fun to read, like in the romance genre. Like I think it can be done in such a fun way, like because these are like bigger numbers. Like
yeah,
Hope, how you said 7 years, like but this is 17. Like
yeah,
it's just a bigger number, and I think like it it can work really I think easily well in a novella. I think when you make it into a novel, I feel like you really have to have like some harder conversations, and like to what you were saying, Hope, like they kind of just didn't for the most part. Like
Mhm.
it was just like, oh well maybe, but I'm not going to say anything. And then it was like, it's okay, we're just going to have smut the whole time, which again, well written, ma'am. You do you, keep doing it, like you're writing it
yeah,
well. But like as far as like anything else, I think to give the relationship substance, like the physicality, like that was there, but like the actual substance of like long haul relationship, this isn't just for fun. I feel like that part was missing, and like
yeah.
I
It's like the
enjoy.
physical intimacy was
Yeah.
there, the emotional intimacy was lacking.
Yeah. And I think for me, like as a reader, like obviously like we love spice. Like I'm never gonna turn the book down. Like I love spice, but like when I like am like connected into like a couple, it's like I also have to feel so emotionally like
Mhm.
invested in like the things that they're going through. And it just felt like even like individually, like Cassie just being like, oh, was it UCLA? Is that where she wanted to go so bad?
Yes.
Right? You know, even like the big switch from that just being like I know she explained it. I know she took some time to explain it, but even that was just like I don't know. I felt like there were I think she could have taken out some smut and gave us just more individual growth because we got scenes of it, but I just don't think it was like enough, like of actually like putting in the work, you know? Like
Hmm.
it was just like the best friend, Aaron's best friend Rachel. Like she didn't even tell Rachel. Rachel was the one that had to be like, "Oh, so that's who you messing with?" What? Like, you know, and it's like she wasn't even honest with her best friend then, which is crazy. And then like it took multiple therapy sessions before she finally said it. And I love that the therapist was like, "Do you think hearing that two consenting adults are together is the worst thing I've heard in my line of work?" And I love that like she had that moment of like, "Let's bring it back to reality, babes."
Yeah.
Like why do you feel like you have to lie? Why do you feel like you can't do X, Y, and Z? You know? And so
Hmm.
I don't know. I think there were just elements missing. Whereas when I started the book, I was like, I don't know, man, this could be 4 stars. Like I was like, because I thought we were gonna get like that really like fun beginning, you know, of just like that really like, oh my god, what are you guys doing? And then I thought we were gonna get like a little more invested in character, but um, I had told Karina, I was like. I said, you know, like taboo is taboo, you know, and I was like, but this one didn't feel like the fun taboo of like, oh my god. This was just kind of like, what are you guys doing? Wait, but why are you doing this? Like, why are we? Why?
Well, see, okay, I have this. I'm gonna skip over a couple of the questions because this also just popped in my head. But if this, do y'all think if this was had been a heterosexual couple, man and a woman, either which way
Mhm.
dynamic, would the perception of it be different?
No, there's still no emotional like
Mhm.
tie to it. Again, if it was in a novella, like if
Mhm.
we're cutting out a lot of pages, giving me just like a very like sexy fun time. If it was a novella, like sure, regardless of heterosexual or anything, like, but
Mhm.
no, if this you could have inserted anything into there and I still would be like no, because I feel like I have to connect when I'm reading a full length novel. Like I have to have something where I'm just like I'm so invested in the character or something,
Mhm.
and like oh
See, I even thought about it like, what if it was Parker's dad
mm-hmm,
and her best friend who's a gay man?
mm-hmm,
And the story went the same exact way. Even I would probably go, guys. Like, it wasn't a bad
Yeah.
novel. It was one of those I'm like,
yeah,
I enjoyed it. It didn't feel like to me to be a 3 star. Those meh like 3 stars. So that's why I'm giving it a 4. But I completely understand where you're coming from on all the conversations. But I also feel like I may have connected a little bit more with Cassie
mm-hmm,
with a couple of different things. So I enjoyed it a little bit more in that aspect. Like I understood why Cassie made every decision she made.
mm-hmm.
Aaron was the one that I questioned from time to time.
Just because you expect a little more with somebody being, I think, just older.
I'm like, you're a nurse.
Yeah, a doctor.
Yeah. So
Like
I'm like, girl, get it together.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Um, so is their relationship appropriate given Aaron's role as Parker's mother? And should they have ended it when they realized the connection?
I mean,
I
it's
mean,
it's each cat. Go ahead, Hope. I'm sorry.
for the is the relationship appropriate? I mean, the connection did start before it was known.
Exactly.
So, should they have ended it when they realized the connection? No, but Cassie shouldn't have been invited for Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Mm-hmm.
that's where I was like, oh, this is fun, but also, why would you invite, like, I get why you would invite your like like one of your daughter's best friends for Christmas because of knowing about that, but then Erin did have the option to say no and be like, oh, what if we'll just have it be you and me, we'll spend the break together. But I also get why she did it. It was great sex. There's probably in the back of her head going like, well, maybe we could do it. Even though she was adamant, like, oh, nothing's gonna happen, nothing is gonna happen. Girl, you knew something was gonna happen the moment that you bought that plane ticket.
Yep. Yeah.
Like,
And I would have liked it more, I think, if she just had that, like, in her POV, if we had that honesty of like, hey, like, I know this shouldn't happen, but hey, I'm divorced. We're adults. I'm buying a plane ticket anyways. I think I would have liked it, honestly, more with that. But it felt like a lot of just like pretending certain things weren't happening. And I was like, why are we doing that? Like, is it appropriate? I don't think it is, just because I'm just thinking in the context of like, if like my mom or dad was in a relationship with one of my friends, I'd be like, you what? No, I just no, thank you. Like, I just wouldn't handle that
Hello.
well as a person, huh?
I was like, hello.
Yeah, so like, is it appropriate in the sense of like, just that's your child's friend? I guess no, but like Hope said, like, their connection happened before there was even an idea that even anything of knowing that, but I just think like it could have still been fun and like taboo if it wasn't under it felt very like naive, I think, to be like how Hope said, like, you babe, you knew what was going to happen when you said yes to buying that plane ticket. Like, let's not be naive about it. Like, let's just be like, let's have
just
fun,
like,
but
it might happen. Like,
yeah, we'll see where it goes. And I just feel like, why would you not be telling your best friend?
Hello.
Like,
I'm
I feel
getting
like
it from someone 17 years younger than me. I'd
yeah,
be bragging.
that's what I'm
Going,
saying.
yeah.
look at me go. I still got it.
Come on, babes. You see what I'm pulling? Like, yeah,
I'm sorry, I
Us.
still freaking say shit like that to my best friend. It's like even just random shit like
yeah,
what's going on. Like, I'll I'm at the point that even though my best friend knows I'm in a serious relationship, I'll still be like, oh my God, like this cute little thing happens, and like
yeah.
Mhm.
Literally,
if I
like,
wasn't, if it was even when I was randomly with like back in my kind of mini hoe era,
I love this
I'd
for
be like,
you.
oh my God, like I just did this to my like
Yeah,
friend group, like
And when
yeah.
she means mini, she means mini. Mini
Like,
hoe
but
era.
my old roommate, like,
Oh, I didn't even put that together, Hope.
wait, what'd
Wow.
you say?
Oh, 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 oh. I forgot about that. Okay.
it's like, oh yeah, it was like three people, and then so it's like, yeah, mini, and then I'm like, no, I'm specifically remembering the one.
Uh-huh.
But like, I know for me, like, one of my old roommates and like one of our best friends, we used to like sit around like our stool seats like in our kitchen, and like when our best friend would come over, we'd be like, we'd have like the food, the snacks, and we'd be like, we're prepared. Tell us every detail. Tell me
Yeah,
everything. Like, so it's like, I think those are, I really think like those are the things that might seem small, but just kept me, I think, from like emotionally investing in them, because it just didn't feel real in any sense, like, of being like, why would you not be telling your best friend something? Why are you lying to your therapist? She's not going to tell anything. Like, why are we so naive to think that like you just had such a great connection? And that's the thing, like, I feel like they had such a great connection from like the bar, that I was like, oh shoot, okay, like, I see why we're going where we're going, but then to think that like nothing was going to happen, but your defense mechanism was to like try and make Cassie feel terrible so that she did, like, literally, like, airbud, are you trying to airbud her? Like, that's why.
I feel like this book missed a good opportunity at that breakfast, that first breakfast.
Mm,
They could have had a moment there where they told Parker. I know neither one really wanted to tell Parker because they were like, this is weird. I think it could have been a laughable moment if they would have laughed it off.
Mm.
And it would have made more sense later on down the road if something happened again because of that connection.
Mm.
Like, to me, I was waiting for that laughing moment of the whole, oh, hi, Aaron.
Mm-hmm.
And Parker to be like, what? To me, that would have been the moment of her looking at Parker and go, okay, now we're even. Ha ha ha, funny. Of the whole, you
Yeah.
slept with my boyfriend. I accidentally slept with your mother. Ha ha, funny.
Mm-hmm.
And that could have been
Yeah.
like the end of that.
Which again, I think shows Parker's maturity, because as soon as Parker found out
Mm-hmm.
that boy had a girlfriend, like, she was like, I'm done. Don't ever talk to me again. And I like don't care about you. Like, again, Princess was the only one that was out there acting like she had any the sense that the good Lord gave her. Like, it just
Speaking of that naiveness, we'll go to this question. What are your thoughts on Erin's initial reluctance to open about the to be open about the relationship, and how do you feel about her eventual decision to be more forthcoming? Because we were just talking about the fact that she didn't tell her best friend, she didn't tell the therapist.
I mean, in some ways, her reluctance is maybe almost like I can see her being almost like in the beginning, like ashamed,
mm-hmm.
and then eventually growing and just being like, okay, well, I do like this, I do want this, so maybe it is good. Which, I mean, it does show with any relationship, there is sometimes that bit of like hesitation of, is this the right thing? Do I want this?
Mm-hmm.
And then you have to have that conversation with yourself of like, okay, no, this I do see this as what I want. So I can see it's kind of maybe her having those kind of thoughts,
Mm-hmm.
but I feel like she should have had that earlier and then been open a little, like, and honest a little bit sooner.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said. I think
Mm-hmm.
at the beginning, like, I'm sure there's a level of shame that probably was there just because of like our like cultural norms, I guess, to say, of just being like, that's not what you normally would do with your child's friend, you know? But like, she didn't know at the beginning, So I feel like I'm sure there's like some shame that followed. And I feel like that's super understandable. Like, I don't know if I would want to speak upon this very, like after either, but I agree with you. I think it just like I think it took too long to get to a place where there was an actual like, hey, I think especially after you spent 2 weeks together nonstop, like did like it just seems so crazy to be like, and we're done. Like it just yeah.
Yeah. Um, were you surprised by the ending? And do you think it was realistic, or is it more of a romantic idealization of an
Romantic
ending?
idealization, 100%.
Mm-hmm.
This is one of the cases in a book where I wanted like a breakup
Yeah.
and then maybe like a breakup, couple months apart, and then maybe come back to there. This is one of those books where I was like, oh, I could have actually seen that, and it would have been better because it would have shown like,
Growth.
yeah, there could have been a moment for growth and not just, oh well, I guess Parker found out we're fine, and then like ending up the epilogue being like, oh, we're getting married. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, like it,
I.e., not all romance books need to end with the whole proposals. Can we just
Mhm.
talk about that for a second?
yeah,
It
it could
feels
be
like
a
almost everything they like to wrap it up with, oh my God, we're going to get
Yeah.
engaged. Oh my God, we're getting married. Oh my God.
Mhm.
Y'all
Or
have known
kids,
each
yeah.
other for like a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chill out.
Like I'm like if it would have ended of their like maybe like well like of how it was a couple years later, maybe being like oh of how they were talking about like combining finances. Like you could leave it there and I'm like that's enough. That's a big enough that's a big enough decision. But like being like, "Oh, let's get married." It's like you don't just kind of have that on a whim.
Yeah. The
It's a big life thing.
the proposal wouldn't have bothered me so much had it not been for, again, Parker. Like, Parker was like, "Are you gonna marry my mom?" Like, Parker's the only reason this book moved forward in any sense of anything. Like, because if not, they would have just been sneaking around for the rest of their days.
Mhm.
If Parker hadn't walked in, they'd have snuck around forever. Like, there would have never been the cat. Like I think that's my issue. The only catalyst forward was Parker finding out, and the only catalyst to marriage was Parker being like, "Are you ever going to do anything about this?" Like, and I just feel like, I don't know. I think if I put myself in that situation, I would want like my man to, I don't know, have the thought on their own and be like, "I'm putting my foot forward on I want to marry you," and not somebody else being like, "You ever going to do this or what?" And then her being like, "Well, I didn't know if I needed to ask you." And that right there, you never would have found the courage within you to ask. So I guess y'all would never would have gotten married. Because they were like, how is Parker the one that like can process through all of this better? But I do think it was like definitely like romantic idealization of just like, this is the perfect way to end a story with a ribbon, like neatly tied on there. They're getting engaged and like, yay, yay, yay. It
I
just,
want to know what inspired this book
yeah.
for the
Oh,
author to write it. Was it Stacy's mom or was it Stifler's mom? Like which thing?
yeah.
I don't know. Hope, do you get either reference?
I get the Stacy's mom.
Stacy's mom.
Stifler's mom is American Pie.
Yeah, I haven't seen that movie in
I feel like it's
years.
definitely more Stacy's mom.
Okay. Well, just the look you were giving me when I said it, that's why I was like, do you get the reference?
Yeah, I get
This
the
might be an
Stacy's.
age difference thing again.
Especially with like her mom coming out in like the bikini at one point. That's
Yes.
Stacy's mom.
Oh,
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Fountains of Wayne all the way. Um okay, so do we have any favorite scenes or least favorite scenes that we haven't covered?
One of my favorite scenes, and this is probably going to be one of those like you wouldn't think to be a favorite, but I really loved Acacia. And I loved when she had like a very honest like moment with Cassie. Like when Cassie, obviously they'd been best friends since they were young. Like, so there's going to be a level of trust there for sure that's there between her and Acacia that she might not have with other, like, Parker or somebody else. But when she's like, Cassie's like dumping all this on Acacia. And again, I just go back to saying, like, I don't think Cassie really enjoyed Parker the way that she wanted us to believe she did. But like when Acacia told her, like, this is putting me in a really rough spot because Parker's also my friend. And I feel like it was like a really like a moment of like, you're out here playing games and doing all of this and dumping it on other people to like carry your emotional baggage that you have no desire to handle your own. Like I can be there, I can hold the bag open for you, but you got to be the one to unpack it. You know what I'm saying? Like I can sit there and try and help as your best friend. I'll sit with you in the dark, like when you need to, but like you're just giving me your bag to hold and you have no desire to even unzip it. Like with everything you got going on and just thinking that, and that's why I say like she definitely didn't look at Parker as being like somebody to be close to, because she didn't care that Acacia was going to have to hold that secret in, because like that's a big thing to hold. That's not like It's not like a little thing of like, oh yeah, she like, took your shirt and never returned it.
And did Acacia I'm just
Mhm.
curious because when Parker found out, Parker went straight to Acacia.
She did, yeah.
So I'm curious if Acacia unloaded that baggage just to be like, hey, this is what I know. Not
She said
trying
that. Sorry, go ahead.
not trying to like spoil, like not to tell my friends secrets. But in a way, this is what I know. Now do with that as you will.
She said that Parker could tell that I guess Acacia wasn't a good liar. And she's like,
Mhm.
she could tell by like my expression, like she knew. And then Parker even said, the only reason that I'm able to cope so well is that like Acacia talked me down off the ledge and like helped me remember that like I love my mom. And even though I don't think Cassie was a good friend to Parker, but like Parker had always tried to be a good friend to
Mhm.
Cassie and being like, you love Cassie. Like, so I feel like honestly, the hero here is Parker and Acacia. Because like Parker
Yeah.
could have went scorched earth. Like,
Yeah, and that kind of brings a scene that I wouldn't say it was favorite scene, but it's one that I did like is when Cassie and Parker were kind of talking after like Parker finding out and just kind of that of Parker kind of explaining how it made her feel. And I
yeah,
was like, okay, at least we're actually having this conversation and it's not like I did like that scene where it
yeah,
was just
I,
like everybody's being kind of a bit more open and honest and we needed this like 4 months ago.
yeah,
Where
yeah,
Parker basically was like, now tell me everything minus the
Just
sex
the
parts.
sex.
yeah,
I don't
Leave the
know
sex
about
out,
that.
but tell me everything else, how it started, where it went, so I can understand your side of it.
mm-hmm,
Yeah.
Mom has told me her side, now it's your turn to tell me yours.
mm-hmm,
Yeah. And not just having like, oh, I heard my mom's side of the story, and so I just fill in the blanks and just assume.
yeah,
Which takes a lot of maturity to ask the person who's
absolutely,
sleeping with your parent to explain how everything started.
yeah, yeah,
Listen,
Mhm.
I know my mother and I have a weird relationship because she has came to me before with sex advice in the past. So I'm like, we have a weird relationship. And even I'm like going, I don't know if I could sit down with Bobby and be like, no, now
mhm,
you tell me how it started for you.
yeah.
Because
That was one of my favorite scenes as well too, Hope. I thought that was like a really great one where like you said, it just needed to happen sooner. But not to be the broken record, but again, it's like the person I think that had the most maturity in the situation though was Parker being like, all right, listen, I sat while you were off on the scooter my mom bought you. um I sat, I calmed my dad down, then I talked to my mom, found out her side of things, and like I'd love for you if you're able to be open and honest and just tell me your thoughts, and your feelings.
Yeah.
do we
And
have
that's
a
what like every friendship needs is that like
Mhm.
ability to be honest even when you don't want to.
Oh yeah,
Agreed.
yeah,
That is, if you have that in a friendship, it is a bit more authentic.
yeah,
I'm definitely there. I'm always that type of person. Like when it comes to friendships, I'm like, if I do something wrong, or if you have legit questions about a situation, no matter how harsh they may sound, come to me and we can talk about it because I'll do the same thing with you.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
See, that ultimately, it's like that is kind of ultimately what ruined my longest friendship is she was not willing to communicate with me on things. And that was ultimately what I was like, okay, if you're not going to communicate with me anymore, we're done. I'm moving out and we're done.
hmm So, do we
So
have any least favorite scenes that we
mm,
haven't discussed? Because I can't think of any
I
that.
can't, no.
Okay.
no.
Okay. Did anything in this book shock us?
think so.
I guess besides the amount of sex, I think
Okay.
my shocked us all. We were expect. I feel like I was expecting. Okay, well, it starts with a one night stand, so there'll be a pretty detailed one in the beginning, and then maybe like two or three like scenes
Mhm.
throughout the rest of the book. Not one damn near every single chapter
Yeah.
or a
I was
version of a sexting or whatever.
I was expecting what we got in Rachel's book, The View from the Top. The
Mhm.
amount of sex scenes in that
Yeah.
were more palatable.
Mhm.
I still think we may have had one too many, but it was still more palatable than this was. Normally, I don't mind smut. I don't mind sapphic smut because
Mhm.
I've read some that even has been really hot, and I'm like, ooh, I don't,
It,
I should not find this good. But this, I had to speed through.
it almost felt like it was too much, and the repetition was like
Mhm.
because it was like yeah, sometimes it's sapphic sex. It's like you kind of just do a couple different things. So it was nice once they brought like my favorite sex scene, for example, was the one with it. We brought a toy out and had fun with that.
Mm.
Mhm.
But that was the only sex scene that felt different.
Yeah.
Everything else felt like rinse repeat.
Yeah.
What almost felt like repetitive and therefore less necessary.
Yeah. I think my shock would be the pacing and just the imbalance of like the pieces in the book. It was so
Mhm.
much smut, and then I just think like not enough like individual growth and then growth as a couple. Like I just feel like that was just so non-existent, dang near, you know.
Do either of y'all have any quotes that stand out to y'all?
Mm.
I know y'all tend to have more quotes than I do.
I didn't have a copy of it, and honestly, like I was just listening and playing a game on my phone while I listened, so I don't have any quotes that I can remember.
And we've discussed that question, which is the writing style. You've discussed. I'm pretty sure we've gone into detail about the writing style, which I would read more from this author. So,
Yeah, I think there's potential. There was so much potential. I think it just like,
I also like of how just a writing style, it also is that simplistic. So it's easy to read.
yeah,
That's ultimately what I liked of how sometimes I just want a very simplistic writing style that's straight to the point and you don't have to like put extra effort in to understand the writing style.
yeah.
I'm like, I
Sometimes
know.
you need those.
Go right ahead.
Huh?
Go right ahead.
Oh no, I was just agreeing with her. It's like sometimes you need those, like ones that are just like an easy story
Hmm.
to have, and then not have to like break your brain trying to keep up with like 100 different things. You know, that's like fantasy. Like love fantasy, but sometimes my brain cannot handle what it needs me to handle. Like,
I will say now that I've read this, I know the expectations of going in for possibly the sex scenes and stuff like
mhm.
that because I do have Clique Cute on
Mm,
that I didn't realize when I had came up with this TBR that I owned a book by her at the time. Like I
is
didn't think about it.
is Cleat Cute YA or is it college?
It's college.
Okay.
It it's an adult. What it gives me is adult Bend It Like Beckham. But
Okay.
to me, anytime you have a soccer thing and it's sapphic, I get the movie Bend It Like Beckham in my head. Even though that wasn't a sapphic movie, it should have been.
Hmm.
But
Cute cover though. Oh my god.
because it's like more like the adult version of what we're going to be reading in September,
Mm.
which, what's the name of the September one? Care Bears flying. Oh, you don't have a shot. Would we recommend this book to others?
Mm. If I knew somebody was interested in just like a smutty smutty time. Yeah. I feel like I would recommend it in the way that like you recommend a novella, like a smutty novella, but just tell them like it's just going to be longer. It's like not as short like as a novella, but the same vibes. I think that's really what it gave me was the vibes of a novella. Very, very sexy, like not too much plot, and then it was wrapped up with a bow by the end, and that's what it gave me. But I just feel like I have such a shorter attention span, and I think like time frame that I'm willing to give like a novella versus, what makes it a novel.
Yeah.
I completely agree with that.
But I mean, I would recommend it for sure.
I mean, from what you're saying, I wonder if this started off as a novella. Like when she wrote it.
Yeah. This could have, if it was a novella, could have easily got like 4 or 5 stars from me.
Would any of us ever reread it? Probably not. Oh, we did that one. Oh, I skipped one. Did this book remind you of any others? The only one that it kept coming to mind was The View from the Top.
Yeah.
Just because the beginning and the end.
Yeah.
I kept going, okay, sapphic romances doing like a similar plot.
Yeah. I just want to say though, I love that that's how these books did start though. I think just like, what a fun time. Like what an absolute fun time.
And I wish sapphic stuff did something for me. Because then it would be a great time for me.
I will say, after reading that first smut scene, I had a very great time. That's when you just stop reading, go to the other room and just hi.
I mean, I've had several books do that, and I've gone straight to Sterling and going, hey, come with me.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I did.
Come with me. We gotta reenact this
show and was then just like, take the TV remote, just turn the TV off and go from there.
Yep. So do we have any lingering questions or thoughts on the book that we haven't discussed?
No.
Not really. I don't think even... I'm going to quickly take a look at my notes. Because I made like 3 of them.
I skipped several questions because we kind of discussed a lot of the questions within other questions.
I have to do that sometimes too. Like I'll be like, yeah.
I have just a note that I don't know why it's one thing in the book that ultimately gave me an ick is the quote. In high school, Cassie was the promiscuous bisexual who probably wouldn't be into chicks if she had a father figure.
Yeah.
Ew. Ick.
I was like, IDK, why this gives me the ick. Trope of all bi people have either mommy or daddy issues.
Okay, to go on from that, because that was an ick, it's one of the things I said, I hated the way that she threw like, you got mommy issues.
Mm-hmm.
Please stop. Because again, I feel like it creates that narrative that you're saying, Hope, that like any person that's bi is like, oh, you must have mommy or daddy issues, and that's why. And it's like,
no.
I mean, they say the same thing.
Sometimes it's that case, but like 99.9% of the time it's not.
Like a generalized blanket statement. That was, yeah.
Well, they say the same thing about gay men and gay women. That you're automatically going to be a gay woman if you were only raised by men. And that just because I was raised mainly by women, that's why I'm gay, is because I have father issues. And I'm like, no, I think I'm gay because I like certain things that are attached to a man that a woman doesn't have. Little things make it a little bit more obvious. Just saying. Do we think this was good representation of queer literature for bisexuality and sapphic?
I feel like I don't have a leg to stand on in saying like if it was good rep. Do you feel like it was good rep?
I have a yes and a no.
Okay.
Yeah, mine is like yes, but no. I mean, I'm trying to like put my thoughts into words because it's like I mean, it's good representation because it is a positive outcome showing that a age gap sapphic romance can end up in a happy ending.
which we don't get a lot of those.
We don't, yeah,
I don't know of many others past this.
Yeah.
yeah, I can't think of a single one.
I can think of several MM books that are daddy boy age gap things. I can think of a couple that are granddaddy boy age gaps, but I can't think of any past this one for Sapphic.
So that was like your yes. What was your no, Hope?
The no is just because mainly it just there's some things that felt off and it was almost like they don't want to be doing it.
Mm.
Therefore, it's almost that negative of like, oh well, we shouldn't be doing this. Not it's like not only just because of like how they know each other, but it almost felt like it's like a I'm trying to figure out how to word it. I don't know. It was just something that felt just kind of like, eh. So I guess I'd say it's good, but not great.
Oh, that's valid.
I guess
I
we'll say that because I can't process my thoughts.
my no
I'm still
kind of
hungover a little bit.
see my no kind of goes along with what you were just discussing a second ago about the ick.
Mm.
That's
Yeah.
where it's like it's perpetuating that stereotype is where my no comes from for the bisexualities, which I can think of a couple of books, one famous one by an author we both love that perpetuates that stereotype of all bisexuals have mommy daddy issues or they sleep with everything and everyone. So it's like we had a couple of those conversations and I went, oh,
Yeah, especially like with
okay.
when what was it? Gwen wanted to
Yes.
hook up with Cassie, and it was kind of almost like assume that, oh, well, Cassie's not going to say no.
Yep.
It's like even if she wasn't hooking up with
Mhm.
Aaron, it's like she could still say no
Mhm.
because you can say no.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That definitely was like that ick of it's like, oh well, you're bisexual. You'll sleep with a woman. You'll sleep with me. It's like, well, no.
I think for that though is because Cassie was like trying to get Gwen before. I think she
Yeah.
thought like that door would just be open. But I know what you mean though, because they really painted Cassie as that like promiscuous. She's down for anything with everybody, anytime. Like regardless of like you said, she could say no. Like she'd be like, yeah, no, not interested. And but yeah.
I just, well, the only times that I saw where she wanted to sleep with Gwen is when she was punishing herself and she was drunk.
Well, I think they had made a
Too.
reference that she had always was attracted to Gwen or something, and that's why
Mhm.
Parker was like trying to like test her with
Mhm.
Gwen was
Yeah,
because
and
like
like push it.
yeah, she like made the I think she like referenced the fact that like you've always had a thing for Gwen, so I knew like if you turned Gwen down, like that means you actually were serious about my
Mhm.
mom. So yeah.
Did anybody's rating change?
I'd say I guess mine kind of went down to a four. It's like realizing a few things that I didn't like. I think in the back of my head I had the thoughts, but I was like, we'll just push that off to the side. And then we're talking about. I'm like, wait, no, yeah. So I'd say four. I still really liked it, and even some of the stuff that we talked about. I'm like, okay, but like I did enjoy everything, so I can kind of push those off to the side a little bit,
Mhm.
but like still recognize that yeah, the book has its flaws, but like I still enjoyed it.
Yeah. Um, I think I'm gonna stick with my two. If you see me change my mind in a little bit and put a 2.5, just pretend that that's what I said on a Goodreads. Okay.
I mean, with this, my first initial thought for this was a 3.75, but I don't do 0.75s. I only do the .5. Like, the .5 felt too low, but the 4 felt too high.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I'm sticking at a 4, because I had more in my head. It was more the 3.5 felt too low.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm like, when it's a 0.75, I'll round it up. But if it was like a 0.25, I would have gone down.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just like that weird thing.
Which is Goodreads. Give us half and quarter stars, please.
That is what I like about Storygraph.
Choreograph, yeah.
Except Storygraph has me angry right now because it's down.
Mm.
Because they're doing maintenance on it and it's down till 5. And I have 2 books to enter on it.
I know Fable gives, I think, 0.25 stars because
Mhm.
Karina gave The Crash a 0.25
Uh-huh.
on there, and it was valid.
My only issue with Fable is you can't add rereads.
Yeah, I don't
You
use Fable for that just because I'm like I just feel like I don't need that many tracking devices because I know I can't keep up with it. So
well, I'm keeping
That's
up with
why
all 3.
I just do Goodreads because that's I'm debating. I did do Storygraph for a little while, and then I was like, I kept on forgetting to update it, and I was like, I'm not going back and inputting like 100 books, so I
yeah,
just deleted my account.
yeah,
But I
I,
mainly have my spreadsheet, which that's what I go off for my stats, is my spreadsheet that I have customized to my reading taste, to everything about my reading. That's my main thing.
I'm the weird one. I have Goodreads, Storygraph, and Fable because one, I'm spending the year using all 3 and deciding which one that I really like.
yeah.
And I hate to say it, I like Goodreads for certain things. I like Storygraph for certain things. And I like Fable for certain things. But Fable has the whole you can't add a reread.
Mm-hmm.
I have to delete it, then re add it. But if I reread a book in the same year, I can't count it.
Yeah.
So
See,
that.
I don't see myself ever not using Goodreads because I just feel like I have too many people on there. So I feel like I'll always use Goodreads, but I would love to also start using Storygraph. Like I would like to use both, but I just struggle with keeping up with both, like Hope said. But
Yeah, I think now that my reading has slowed down, I can definitely
mhm,
keep up a bit better. It's like I've read, I think, 6 or 7 books this year versus when I was using Storygraph, it was like 200 books in a year. So I was pretty much having to update shit like every like 3 days
yeah.
because I'd finished a book.
See, I have those 3, and then I still have my color coded, my lists, my
Love that for you.
beer book trackers, my favorites of the year trackers, my other list. Like, listen, I have like 17 lists going on in different places where I have to update.
I love that so much.
I'm neurotic when it comes to that. So, and if I don't update it, I forget about it.
Hmm. That is
But
my
no,
problem though. Once when I don't do it, I forget about it, and then I'm like, wait.
but
Next
that's
thing I know, I'm like
why
3 months behind.
But that's why I'm constantly doing it. Every time I finish a book, I'm like, okay, I need to put it on these 3 digitally while I'm at work.
Hmm.
Go ahead and do it right after I finish the book. When I get to the house later, I can put it on the other 2 spreadsheets plus the other spreadsheet. Oh, this is a 25 and 2025 book. Oh, I need to highlight the color of my rating on this. Oh, it's a queer book. I need to add it to this list. But that is all we've got for Mistakes Were Made. I hope you guys are joining us this month for Pole Position, which is Red, White, and Royal Blue meets F1 Racing.
Okay, that's
I'm
exciting.
being judged now.
So, and I know Shay,
That has whiskey in it.
and
Okay,
I
just
know
drink it.
Shay from Shockingly Shay Reads is joining us
Okay.
for this one. When we have a live show date decided, we'll let y'all know. And I do know here in a few, we will be starting the live show for Extraordinaries,
Mhm.
which will be me and Hope talking about it. And then this month, we'll be doing Flashfire.
Exciting, exciting. Have you guys talked about if you're going to do the any live shows for the uh like Heartstopper, like the Osman along.
I know Hope, me and Morgan have discussed it. I don't know when we're ever going to do them, but we've discussed doing drunk live shows.
Oh, that would be fun.
Or we may just do a live show towards the end after we've read them all.
I'm thinking maybe we could try to do one like August for like the first couple books.
Mm-hmm.
Because then that gives us also time. It's like if I need to book time off work, Morgan to figure out her schedule, you to figure out what you're doing, give us like
Well, if it's in August, I'll have to work with Thrills and Chills, Fiction Falls, Fiction
I
Falls
just
Readathon.
suggested it.
I know. Which we have the bingo board made for Fiction Falls, and that announcement goes up on my birthday
Oh, how exciting!
because that's how
Exciting.
we did it last year.
You guys did it that late in July?
Yeah. Last year we announced it on my birthday. She went back and looked on exactly what day we announced it, and we announced it on my birthday.
Okay, that's
And
exciting.
it may be that's how we do it every year.
Okay,
I mean, a good way to celebrate your birthday is have
I was
just
about to
like
say,
have an
yeah.
announcement.
And I'm really proud of the bingo board.
Were you able to do the thing that you were telling me about?
No, but I made it make sense the way I wanted to do it.
Okay.
And it's still houses, so it's even better.
Did y'all hear that thunder?
Yeah.
Okay, gotta love Florida.
Matter of fact, I will send so that you can see it, Dana.
Yes, please.
I'm really proud of it. I like the colors. I like how it looks. But I think this is where we're going to end this because I know the other live show starts in 14
I was
minutes.
about to say, I was like, you guys got to get going.
But so thank you, Dana, for joining us. This was so much fun. Thank anyone who came to watch because I know we had a couple viewers pop in and out. But yes, this was super fun.
Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, this was fun.
If you're not following Hope or Dana, why are you on my channel if you haven't already followed them? I feel like I get all my subscribers from Dana and the girls mainly now. And Hope's been here for how long?
Almost 4 years.
So I'm like, but they're linked down below. Go follow them. They're amazing. If you like this video, hit that thumbs up. If you've read this book after the fact, comment down below. Let us know your thoughts. Do you align more with Dana,
I'm so
Hope,
sorry about
or
that.
me? No, I love it when we have these kind of discussions.
I do too because it allows like me if I started this live being like I loved it and then it's like saying points that I didn't think of and then now I'm like oh wait yeah that makes sense wait no
But
Thanks,
if you
guys.
like,
Thanks for not hating me.
we could never. But if you like this video, hit that thumbs up, subscribe, do all the things. The girls are linked down below. If you need book club things, everything is linked down below. Think that's it. Embrace your inner rainbow. Take care of your mental health. Hydrate or mummify, as they say. And until next time, I hope you guys have a fabulously gay day, month, year, whatever it is for you. Bye. In
Bye.
broadcast. In broadcast.
Bye, guys.